Here we are. Here we are.
Airplane mode.
Here we are.
We're about to go on this flight.
Here we go.
Insane in the Membrane.
Welcome to Insane in the Membrane with me, Rich Wilson.
Thank you.
And Ignacio Lopez. Good to see you here, man.
You too, man.
Thank you so much for coming down. Because we were talking just now, and I prefer doing it in the flesh as well.
Yeah.
It just makes it's for a better conversation.
Mano y mano.
I was going to say that. In my accent,
Have I ruined it?
Do you know what, if I say it, it sounds like I'm one of those like self-help dudes. An insecure dude online just going, when it's unarmed combat, mano y mano.
Yeah, man. Well, I like chatting with people anyway, but it's always nicer in person than doing it via, a computer screen and stuff. So yeah. And it's been a while. It's nice to catch up.
It's lovely to catch up. Last time we saw each other was, we've seen each other since, but it would have been Torquay. We did that gig.
Yeah.
And then we went for a drink afterwards and watched people do. I don't know what they were doing. No, it was a band.
Saturday night in Torquay. Yeah. It's the party central of the UK, isn't it? We
had a good time watching people.
Yeah. We came in, I remember like the tables were all pushed together, and then bit by bit more and more people started coming out. So we were sort of moving our seats further and further away from the mass as they accumulated. Yeah.
It was nice though. We had a nice time.
It was a good chat. Fun.
But that's the thing, having met you over the years, you are an easy man to get on with and talk to.
I appreciate that. If you could just text my girlfriend that right now.
Oh yeah, our partners don't think that. I know that. Yeah, I know. With like yesterday, we had a fractious day because, we were both just worrying about stuff separately.
Yeah.
And then you want to say, look, I'm just worrying about this.
Yeah.
But what happens is it just goes, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, well, she's very, Michelle's great at sort of telling me exactly how she's feeling and what she's going through as and when it happens.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm from the kind of, bottle it up.
Yeah.
Forever, and then it comes out at the most inopportune moment, when I should be dealing with something else, this other thing's just sort of hanging out.
Oh man, yeah, I'll just lose my shit over eggs.
Oh man, the kitchen is where I go to just slam shit. That is, cooking, washing dishes, anything. I get so frustrated. I take it out on, if I drop something, Michelle's like, it's just a tea towel. Don't worry about it. It's like, it's not the tea towel. It's 8 years of resentment about something else that is just manifested into this tea towel right now. And now it's on the floor and now it's wet and now I can't use it to dry this dish. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I've come through and I've gone, so we need another baking dish. What did you do to that one? Well, it doesn't matter.
I've got a couple of frying pans that still work, but they've got some dents in them, It's got character. I've got pans with character.
Pans with character. That's a great show for an Edinburgh show. But you grew up where did you grow up?
I grew up in Mallorca.
Yes, that's it. I remember you saying.
Yeah, well, 50% of the time anyway, because my mum is Welsh. So we'd always be back and forth in the UK, and just such totally different families. The only thing that was so similar is that my mother's mother and my dad's mother were both very much like, the what do you call it, the matriarch kind of a thing. So like they just had everyone kind of like flock to them. They cooked the big dinner and all that sort of stuff. So that was the similarity, I think. Apart from that, so different.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Growing up in Mallorca, it always starts. Spanish people always seem to be very family, or like always. It just seems. It might be just a stereotype, but they always seem to be just sat around a big table eating. Yeah,
man, for sure. That's one of the things I remember the most. And when I go visit Spain as well, like I can't tell my Spanish family if I'm going on holiday to Spain. Like my girlfriend and I, we go in under the cover of night, and we get out under the cover of night. Because if I tell them I've got to visit like everyone's house, they're gonna have a big get together, which I love. But if you're doing like a quick city break or something, you got 3 nights, your girlfriend and you, just to try and kind of unwind and get away from everyone for a little bit. You don't want to make it this huge family function. So.
Of course, everyone will be like, he's here. Excuse me,
Bless
sorry.
you.
I do apologise. Oh, God. Yeah, they'd be like, oh, he's here, and everyone's like, yeah, we have to see him, and you have to see us, and then otherwise it's rude.
Yeah, I know. That's why. Yeah, I did a few dates in Barcelona just before the tour started. So November last year, as part of their Fringe Festival, and my family found out I was there because of the adverts of the show.
Yeah, that's
like, he was in Barcelona. He didn't tell us. I was like, nah, I'm very busy. I gotta go.
That's the thing. You got to plug your show at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man,
They didn't come.
Yeah, exactly.
They could book a ticket like everyone else.
Yeah, it was rude that you didn't tell them, and they still didn't come anyway.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like that. I don't have a really big family. All right, they're family members, but we're not exactly close. And and it's a lot of that. It's like, oh, you'll have to let us know when you're in town.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm in town. Like, oh, okay. So they don't come.
Oh, I'm watching Strictly that night. I can't come out. Yeah. All right then.
Oh, you should have let us know. I was like, unless I'm gigging in your house, you're not going to come.
Oh man, the story of my life, and that's just as on the tour as well. Wherever I post I'm performing, people are like, oh well, when you come into Bath, when you come into Norwich, when you come to these places, and eventually I'm like, I'll literally comment on their status or their reply, saying like, oh, I'm in Bath on this date. Oh, I can't make that date.
Okay, thanks,
pal.
Jeff Norcott did a post the other day talking about his tour and saying that people have been in touch, going, why aren't you coming to my town? Why are you coming to this town? And then what he did was just go, this is why I'm not coming to Croydon. And he's told them why. He's been really honest. He goes, if you want an honest answer, he goes, ask me, and I'll tell you why I'm not in your town.
Yeah. I think the one for me is Cumbria. I've had a few people saying like, why haven't you come back to Cumbria? I had a great time in Cumbria last tour, but I did not sell enough tickets to justify going to Cumbria. I'm sorry, Cumbria. If you want to put on a show and book me for it, you can pay me up front and I will be there. But
yeah, that's I've literally just come from there. We were up near there. Did Ulverston, which is like it's the Coronation Hall. Used to be the Laurel and Hardy Museum. And yeah, it was great, and they loved it. And they're like, oh, you'll have to come back, like do a show. And I'm like, yeah, but I like this version because you paid me.
Yeah. Yeah, ticket split's the scary part, isn't it?
I've done that before. Did the festival, and bless him, the guy that ran it. And I went, I'm just scared no one will come, man. And he just went, look, I'll give you some money up front. He said, and then you just have the rest. And bless him, David Crossley, beautiful man.
Shout out to David.
Yes.
Do the same for me, please.
He's a good man to get on with. He loves it as well.
Great.
And then he took us to this pub round the corner. He went, this is the pub to go to. And it was, we could hear this music playing. It was like this blues music. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be great. And then as we walked in, the lead singer hopped up on the banisters there, and he's on his harmonica, and he was just going fucking mental. And I'm like, this is amazing. That's amazing. And so these beautiful little towns that you wouldn't know what was going on really. When you have a look, when the sun goes down, mate, all manner of shit happens.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. When you go on tour, I mean, there are nights where you do your show hotel, but there must be some nights where you get to have a look round.
Yeah, you get the flavour,
stuff.
man. Well, what I've been doing as well, kind of out of necessity more than, wanting to do it, but it's worked out great. Some venues, and I'm very much against this, charge you to sell your merchandise.
What?
So I'll be on tour and I'll see, I love, like, it's not about making money. The markup on the T-shirts and stuff is so small. But I love, like, back when I was in a band and when I'd go see bands and stuff, I love designing something and, like, having that on sale. And it's got little niche references to the show and stuff. I like people having that kind of thing and chatting to people about it afterwards and, like, having these funny things to sell. And I'll go on tour and some venues will be, some of it's negligible. They're like, oh, it's such a small percentage, it doesn't matter. But some people will be like, yeah, we want to charge you 20% of your merch sales. Wow. And I'm like, I'm not making that on the thing. So if you want 20% of the merch, go in Harvest to buy the merch when I have to order all these T-shirts and stuff. But because some venues charge, I'm like, I'm not paying that sometimes. I'll say, look, at the end of the show, if anybody is interested in buying any of this stuff, I'm going to be in the pub across the street.
I was going to say,
come on over. Like, we'll just be there with my suitcase. like, you know, like a wheeler and dealer, like a Del Boy, and I'll be out there selling like a looky man on the beach in Mallorca. I have been out there with like a, you know, a hold all, just selling T-shirts, and it's cool because you go to the pub and people come over and they're like, oh, can I buy you a drink? It's like, no, I've got a drink.
Yeah.
Buy a T-shirt. You know? Because people are like, you know, people want to, you know, support you and say hi and have a chat or anything, and they don't have to buy merchandise. Come over and have a chat, and it's a nice excuse to sit and drink with people after. And that's
great. Yeah,
that's one of the best parts about being on tour. Then, hanging out with people after the show.
It's funny because when you come out of when you go and see bands and you come out and they got the bootleg T-shirts on the pavement outside. That's you with the actual.
That's me with the actual merch. Yeah.
Jay, it's funny actually. Like I said, went to see Kyle Kinane last night, who I've been a huge fan of for years and years. And I on the way to the gig, I'm like, look, because you get all these expectations. Of, I hope I meet him. I'm going to say hello to him. And I was like, keep it down a few. Don't worry. If you don't meet him, it's going to be fine. You'll still see him. And I was sat right at the back by the door, and he came off. I'm like, mate, that was amazing. He's like, yeah, man, thank you. And then I just ended up in the bar with him, like, first, before everyone came out. I'm like, hey, whoa, I'm a big fan. Can we have a photo? And he's like, yeah, sure, mate. And then I took the first one, and it was all juddery and all fuzzy. And he went, oh, that's exciting. I'm like, fuck. And I took another one. And he was really cool. And then I spoke to him a bit later on. And I was trying, because I was a bit tired because I got the little one. I'd had a couple of beers, only 2, but I've not been drinking, so I was a bit like, wee. And then I was talking to him, and I was trying not to be a fanboy douche about it.
Sure.
And I just could see he was kind of like, who's this fucking guy? And I'm like, dude. And I just went, this has been amazing. You're great. Thank you very much. And then, it's just been on my mind all day. So it's great, though.
The thing is, like, you've gone out and you've been thinking that, I think, because we've also done gigs when people come and chat to us after, right? Yeah. Like, I think people walked up to us after Torquay and they're like, you know, you guys are great and stuff like that. You know, partly it's not wanting to go up and necessarily talk to someone you admire or a big fan of and stuff, but also I think the case with me a lot of the time is like people will come over and they're like a bit nervous and stuff, and they'll start chatting, say hi and everything, and then after about sort of 15-20 minutes of chatting, they're like, okay, I really need to go now, you know, this is I'm the person holding them back. No, come on, but where are we going next, guys? What's the agenda?
No, that guy's weird. Yeah, I've had a few nights where I've had drinks with people that were in the gig, and it's been great. And then there's been a few where they kind of go, we've made a mistake here, because I'll get too pissed.
Yeah.
And get too. But this is the thing. It's what I said this to you before we were on air. It's so nice to see the success that you're having.
Thanks.
Having known you for a few years now, and see the work that you put in. Like today, like, you know, you've come to us to do this, and we can't tell you how much we appreciate that. It's a beautiful thing. You really put the work in.
Yeah.
And there must have been points where you went, oh my God, what am I doing this for? Because you have those moments where you feel like putting all this effort into, and it's just going into a void.
Yeah, man, every day. Like it's still, like, people think, I talk about it in the show. In my latest tour show, people think as soon as you're on TV, that's it. Like, you've got it made.
Yes.
And like it hasn't impacted my life much, other than maybe a few more people will buy some tickets, which is great, or maybe people will recognize you very infrequently. You know, somebody goes, "Do I know you from somewhere?" But you know, you still have to edit your own reels and you know, write material and put it out there, and sometimes do absolutely nothing. You know, and you kind of going through that grind, and it's like. But I mean, we do it because we love it, don't we?
Yes, that is true.
So Tom Evans, who's on the tour with me, he's teching for me and also opening for a lot of the dates. He said, like, recently, he was like, you know, you are an actual workaholic. You know, not in the way that some people use it, like, oh, I'm such a workaholic or whatever. He's like, we'll get back from a gig, one of the shows, and even then I'm like, right, upload footage, like do this, do that. The next morning I can't sleep. I'm up, you know, early the next day, like doing stuff. I just can't switch off. Like I don't have that off switch. And it's detrimental to things like relationships and social life and all that kind of thing. But I've taken something I really enjoyed and I've turned it into, you know, everything. It's all encompassing. And that's, I think because when I was a kid, people used to say I was lazy. It was like, I'm not lazy. I just, if I care about something, I give it everything, 100%.
I think that's really interesting that, giving it your all and assuming that once you've made it to a certain level, it just takes care of itself.
Yeah.
I think a few people I've spoken to recently that are also on a level are feeling the same way. They're kind of going, I thought it would just be taken care of. I thought reels and stuff, it would just be done. And because I've still got to do this shit.
I could outsource it. My girlfriend's like, every time I'm editing or every time I'm doing something on a train or whatever, she's like, just outsource this. And it's like, I could, but then I've got to fill the time with something else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, And I am a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to some stuff as well. Like if somebody subtitled it a certain way, I'd be like, no, I'm not happy about that.
But that's good though, because I know that there's been a few times that it's taken me ages to put the video together. I put it out on TikTok, and then it's got 2 lots of captions coming up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just fuck it.
I recently posted a TikTok, because I don't post much on TikTok, but I'm trying to do a bit more. I posted something on TikTok recently, and some guy, one of the first comments was like, take the pause out at the start of the video and it'll do a lot better.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, because I put an image at the start so that was the cover photo.
Yeah.
So I didn't want the cover photo to just be like me mid-motion or talking to somebody. So I put an image first. And it's up for 1 second. And after an hour, this comment came up. And I was like, all right. I said, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I deleted it, got rid of the thing, put it up. And now it's had like 200,000 views.
Wow.
Which is like by far one of my best performing TikTok videos ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is, I don't like that technical aspect of the algorithm. People won't give it a second, What is wrong with you people?
Oh, dude, I've had enough things where people have gone, that's a great clip. Oh, yeah, cool. And then you put it up, you're like, yeah, this is going to be the one. And then someone will say, yeah, the font of this.
What I find is whatever I put the most effort into performs the worst. The stuff I barely care about and I throw out, that's what kind of like gets the big sort of attention. But yeah.
I took the video of me walking to the studio one morning, and it was all like, it was in autumn, so there was leaves everywhere, and it was all, and then I put this kind of like drum and bass track, real cool drum and bass track over the top.
Yeah.
And just put, you're having a shitty day today, but don't worry, tomorrow will be better. Keep moving forward. That's all I put. And everyone went, oh my God. I'm like, are you fucking kidding?
What's good is that you didn't then, because what a lot of people have done, and this is what I've tried not to do, is if something is successful, they're like, well, I've just got to recreate that exact success.
Yeah.
And then people get trapped in these sort of cycles. Yeah. Whereas, like, if something gets a lot of it, I've had a couple of things go viral, I mean, like, right, I'm now going to pivot away from that because I don't want to be known as that guy. And that's what I have to recreate all the time. Because I've seen some people who, they look successful from the outside and they're getting great views and ticket sales, incredible for whatever reason they've made it in that aspect. But they're not necessarily doing the thing that they love doing.
Yes.
And I'm like, that would kill me. If I wasn't able to go up every night and just talk about the things I want to talk about, then, I wouldn't be able to. No.
This is
so
it.
Well done for not being a whole, hang in there kind of video guy. And tomorrow's going to be a better day. Well done for not being like, right, that's my videos from now on. That's everything.
Mind you, I might do it.
Now you get the wheel turning.
It means I could all my shoes would be tax deductible.
Smart, man, smart.
So you grew up in Mallorca.
Yeah.
You grew up in Wales.
Yeah.
In Barry. Where'd you Barry?
No. So we're house hunting in Barry at the moment.
Right.
My mum is from a place called Pontardawe.
Yes.
Which I went to school there for a few years as well. Proper little Welsh town between Swansea and Neath.
Yeah, I've done the Arts Centre a few times.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing.
They've had, over the years, on and off some incredible, like, legendary comedy nights. But yeah, the arts. So Pontardawe is such a small place. The Arts Centre is a 4-minute walk from my mum's house.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So the fact that I was never booked to play there, was grated on me a little bit, because I remember back when, I won't mention the promoter because they have changed hands a few times. But I remember when the promoter was running a few things in Wales, and I was trying to get in with them, and I said, look, I will come and do a spot for free in Pontardawe. Like, it's where my mum lives. It's a walk from the house. Yeah. It'd be great to play there. and he booked me for Narberth, which is where we met. Which is where we met, which has no access public transport wise. I don't drive, so it was a bit of a shit show, if I'm being honest with you. But it was a fun gig.
Yeah, it was a great gig. It's one of those, I remember I forgot my wallet, and I got all the way to Narberth and went, "Oh, this is for contactless, like on your phone." And I had half a tank of petrol left to get me back to London. I drove 50 miles an hour all the way back from Narberth, which is west.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. So when you were growing up you're in Mallorca and Wales.
Yeah.
Was there any? I imagine you liked both.
Yeah.
But were there times when you're like, oh, why am I? Because although we love Mallorca as tourists,
yeah,
growing up there would have been very different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I saw is that, like, both of my parents were working at the time in the tourism industry, so running bars, restaurants, managing hotels, that kind of thing. So I just saw my parents, like, breaking their backs every day. Like, it's a 24-hour, 7 days a week kind of industry for all of these people just coming over and having the best time.
And then we're coming over and going, "Oh, speak English, you twat."
Which happens rarer than you think, but like you remember those interactions and those people the most, and you're the loudest, shirts off, Union Jack shorts on people. But, my parents would be working. My mom, obviously I don't remember this, my mom went back to work the day I was born.
What?
Because that's just how it is over there, Everyone's got, what makes me laugh is when people, some of the stereotypes that come over about like Spanish people being lazy, whatever, because of the siesta.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the 1 hour nap we have in the afternoon around the 16-hour working day.
We've been up since 6.
Up till 3,
up till 3.
Serving drinks. And everyone's like, "Oh, you're lazy because you've had a nap in the afternoon." And, that blows my mind. But then, then I'd see, my mom went back to work the day I was born because they didn't have cover in the restaurant, in my dad's restaurant. And he was like, she had her friend who was visiting on holiday look after me in the restaurant that day, just like looking after me. And my mom was waiting on tables and stuff.
That is hardcore.
Yeah.
Because she still would have been, she hasn't recovered.
No.
Fuck me, man. That's hard. That your mum must, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, my mom,
incredible woman.
What we've discovered lately as well, and I talk about this in my show, is because I talk about like neurodiversity a lot in the show. Because my brother was diagnosed autistic when I was very young.
Okay.
They misdiagnosed him with ADHD to start with. So I talk about like people trying to come up with a diagnosis. And my mom has very much, it's clear now, is on the spectrum with some stuff. Yeah. Like some of the stuff that I notice traits in myself. And when people are saying, "Oh no, that's this thing," I've gone, "Oh, right, it's hereditary. That's where I got it from." And that's, so by, process of elimination, it's like, that's where it's come from,
Yeah. So how are you finding it now that you can sort of figure out that, that's what that is? How are you feeling about all that?
I think for me, a lot of it is like, you feel vindicated. It's like, I wasn't lazy or stupid.
Yeah.
Or, I'm not being rude.
Yeah.
It's just, I've got these kind of, things that I process things this way, and that's just how it is. Like if I'm interested in something, I will absolutely throw everything into it. Just this level of determination comes out of nowhere, and it's because it's something I find interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas, you cannot get me to do a tax return. Like I am incapable of anything mathematically related, anything mathematic. I couldn't care about it whatsoever, and I'm incapable. There's such a block. It's like there's a wall in front of me and this other thing.
Yeah.
I can't. There's no medication. There's nothing that can. Even on a small scale, I just switch off. My brain just won't allow me to do it. But if it's anything remotely creative or that I find interesting, I'll be like, right, I'm going to learn all about this thing today. I will exhaust Wikipedia's resources. I should be giving £3 a month to Wikipedia. Yeah. I use it a heck of a lot more than Netflix. So that's where my subscription money should be going.
I know what you mean about that, though, because I'm the same. When it's, I think, it's really tax as well, because of everything that's going on at the minute, I'm like, we are just going to throw it away. Why should you have it anyway? Which is a terrible attitude to have. It's terrible, because we all thought that then we wouldn't have ambulances and we wouldn't have anything else. So don't do that. Don't listen to us. But it gives you a kind of weirdly a peace of mind to know that it's actually a thing.
Yeah.
Because I know I've had it growing up when people were like, I've been called arrogant before, and it's not. I'm painfully shy.
Sure.
So in certain situations, like last night with Kyle Kinane, I'm too busy trying to second guess it.
Yeah.
And I've, he didn't give a shit. He not thought about it once today. But it's all I've thought about all day.
He's on a podcast somewhere else going like, this dude came up to me. First of all, he took a blurry picture.
Yeah, but it's nice now to be able to, in this day and age, to be able to go, I'm really shy, and it really cripples me.
Sure.
And people go, but you're grown up. You go, yeah, just because it's not just kids that get shy. It's obviously, it might be called a different thing, but yeah, it's nice that we're able to do that now. And
I've got this. I'm so pleased that I've kind of found out certain things about myself, because for years as well, I've found people have called me very impatient with some things. Like I cannot queue up. It's very difficult for me to queue up. I feel, unless my time is being occupied by something. I hate, delays on public transport. And as I mentioned, I don't drive. So if there's a delay or a cancellation on the train, I just feel my blood boil. I go red. Not necessarily like anger, just such discomfort.
Yeah.
Because it's completely out of my control, and I find that very difficult to kind of be. And sometimes, I'll be queuing up for something in a cafe, and if it's taking too long, I'll just walk out. I won't even get to the counter. I'll be like, nope, not today.
I think this is because my mum just did her DNA thing, her heritage, and I don't know what percentage it is, but it's a big percentage Spanish.
Okay.
And I think that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same. So see, because we live down here now, where we've been in London before, so everything's like bang, 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 bang. And then I was in a sandwich shop and I was queuing, and then the two women at the front of the shop, they were chatting to the woman behind the thing. She wasn't even making any sandwiches, and I'm just sort of stood there like, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
And then I realised, like, where have I got to be? The gig's in 6 hours.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but I was like, fuck this, I'm out.
Flip the sandwich counter.
Go, wow, man. So I don't know. That might be where my temperament comes from.
Yeah, maybe. I just I can't cope waiting. It's not anyone's fault. I appreciate that sometimes delays happen or whatever. But I can't be waiting. I've got to be occupied in some way.
Yeah. Must be exhausting.
It can be very exhausting, and it's debilitating sometimes as well, because there's stuff I need to do. Back to it. If you're trying to do some kind of admin stuff on the computer and something's taking a little while, I'm like, well, that's not getting done today. Then close that's it. Me gone. I'm gonna do something else. Yeah, it's tough, man.
Do you sleep all right?
No. I'm terrible sleeping. So. This is another thing I've talked about to Michelle, my partner, because it really frustrates her that I'm up super late. I'll be lying next to her in bed. I'm kind of reading, or I can't switch off. I'm constantly sort of devouring information, or for nothing, useless stuff that's not going to help me out in any way, shape, or form. But if I've suddenly seen there's this rare butterfly, in South America that I want to know about, that's all I'm going to find out about, that day. And it annoys Michelle. And then the next day, I'm useless in the morning because I haven't slept.
Yeah.
Even if I've tried to sleep. A couple of nights ago, I lay in bed. And I was like, I'm wide awake. I'm going to get up and do some work. And she's like, no, stay where you are. And then I'm just staring at the ceiling for hours. So it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take me. I mean, it's different now because we've got our little lad. So he's just full on. But. I'll get in from. I've been up early and I'm out at gigs, and so I get back late, and so. But what I'm finding is it's not decent sleep. It's not proper sleep.
No,
it's just you're grabbing a bit, and then suddenly I don't feel. And you go, well, I've got 6 hours, and they go, yeah, but that's the 6 hours. That's only all you've had this week. So, but then it only takes a little thing like discovering the vampire parrot or whatever it was. This bird, it's got a red head. And
I know what I'm reading about.
Mate, honestly, it's absolutely first class. It's amazing. It's like when I found out about them flying fox things.
Oh, sure, yeah, they look like bat wings.
Yeah, there's a picture of one hanging upside down. Someone came out in the morning and it was in their yard hanging upside down. Well, fuck, that exists? Yeah. I'll get lost on that. Now they're finding new things in the ocean, the lower down we go.
Right.
So that's me now, just...
Ah, man, the ocean terrifies me. You know, you know that documentary about the octopi, the octopus, the octopus. Have you watched that?
The one with the guy?
Yeah.
And I'm sure he had sex with it.
I haven't seen it.
Oh.
And I haven't seen it for a very good reason. Yeah. Oh, what? I can't believe you ruined it. The money shot. No, octopus, so many people tell me like, oh, they're so intelligent, you know, they can unscrew a jar from the inside, they can do this, they can go out and wander out, come back in and stuff like that, they can have human relationships and stuff like that. Don't trust them. I do not trust octopus whatsoever. And everyone's like, yeah, but they're so intelligent, so we shouldn't be doing this. And I was like, no, wipe them out. You know, I mean, in many ways, like I understand, like I'm in the wrong by eating meat and all that kind of stuff, especially when it's like what I consider like a helpless animal. But if it's something like an octopus, which is so intelligent, it could easily take on humanity. I'm like, get rid of it now.
There is someone did say that they think that they are an alien life form. They're not from here. That's why they've got like 7 brains or whatever it is.
Yeah, and all those hearts and stuff.
Yeah, all those hearts. And they can open a jar, having never seen a jar before.
Yeah.
You know, mind you, my 1-year-old can do that. He knows how to work a phone. He was doing that the other day. He just knows what he's looking at. He's just flicking it. But I'm like, what? How?
So intuitive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in there. It's in there, man.
Have you ever been on any medication for sleep?
No. But what's happened is they've found out I've got sleep apnea.
Okay.
So I've got the mask on the machine and all
right.
that. But because I'm not there enough, I haven't had a real chance to use it. So. Sure. But it started. I am starting to. Well, I was on stage the other day and I could hear myself breathing. I'm like, oh shit! I need to go to the doctors. Yeah. Basically, have you?
Yeah, well, in a sort of roundabout way. So I've been on a bunch of antidepressants like my whole life.
Really, from a young age.
Yeah, quite young. I mean, I think I was an adult, but I think the first time I went to see a doctor about depression was like, I think I was maybe 19.
Right.
And like, so I've been on and off like lots of different, I pretty much sampled all of the like antidepressant tapas, you know what I mean? Like you've tried a little bit of everything. And I've been on a bunch of different ones. And the majority of them are the ones you take in the morning. So like citalopram I took in the morning, sertraline morning, all these different. Somebody recently told me about fluoxetine, which is one I've never tried. So that's next on the list.
Ooh.
And they take 2, one in the morning and evening. But most recently I tried one because I was telling the doctor about my sleep problems as well and how I can't switch off. And, you know, maybe that's related to the neurodiversity and all this sort of stuff or the depression, we don't know. And the doctor said there's an antidepressant called mirtazapine, which people take in the evening because one of the side effects is it basically knocks you out.
Right.
It gives you a full sort of 8 hours sleep. You take it an hour before bed. So I was on that for a little while. And it was knocking me out. But what I found is I was waking up tired as well.
Right.
So even though I was having the full 8 hours, I was waking up drowsy and stuff. And it was difficult get going in the morning, which motivation is a huge part of like depression and stuff anyway. Yeah. But what I found is that there's other side effects to the tablet as well. For me, my ankles started swelling up. I was retaining water like a menopausal woman. I had to go. So I had to come off the mirtazapine because I was just retaining water in my legs and stuff, which was strange. And it just came out of nowhere. Maybe we got to try a different dose or something.
Yeah. My dad had that. He's got high blood pressure, they put him on some certain tablets, and his legs just swelled up to this vast, and he was just, and he used to cycle to work and run everywhere, and then his legs were, so he was getting really upset, and then he went to a pharmacist, and said to the pharmacist, "Is there anything I can do?" And the guy just went, "Yeah, you're on the wrong medication. That's what that is. You need to go back to your doctor and say, can I change my medication to," he said, "ask for this."
Sure.
So my dad went back to the doctor. First, he was annoyed that a pharmacist
had called him out. Yeah.
But then he did change it, and it went away.
In Spain, pharmacists have a lot more power to give you stuff than they do in the UK.
Okay.
So like over in Spain, you'd go see a pharmacist before a lot of other things you'd go see the doctor about. And certain stuff you can get over the counter much easier in Spain. And then certain stuff is a lot more difficult to get over there. Like in Spain, I think there's an extra qualification you have to get to be a pharmacist. But you can't buy paracetamol in Spain.
Oh, really?
without going to an actual pharmacist. You can't buy them in like the shops and stuff.
Yeah.
So, which is very frustrating
Yeah.
when you're in Spain in a little town and they don't have a pharmacist open and you cannot get painkillers whatsoever. And they've got all these herbal ones now which do absolutely jack shit.
Oh, mate.
You got there's one. It's a company in Spain. I really want to call them out. I think it's called Pharma. So it looks like a pharmacy.
Yeah,
it's branded like a pharmacy. You go in, they sell all of the stuff a pharmacy would sell, except like actual medication.
Actual medicine, yeah.
So they go in and they've got condoms, they've got sunscreen, they got all this stuff, and it's pharma. It's got the green cross and stuff on the outside. You go in, that's the logo they've designed to look like
yeah.
And you go in there like, oh, can I have some paracetamol? Like, no, we've got this herbal stuff which costs 17 euros.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'll give it a try. Absolutely nothing.
It's chalk.
Nothing whatsoever. Because some extract of this plant and this plant, and they say, well, no, it's just all herbal. It's not bad like this, chemical stuff. It's like, you sell condoms. You think condoms are naturally provided? They don't grow on trees, all right? It's a chemical process they've done to create all of this stuff. Gets on my nerves.
I remember being in Marrakesh and trying to my then wife, as we were getting our bags off of the thing, when we arrived, she put her back out. So we spent the first day in Marrakesh
arriving.
Trying to find, yeah.
What a way to start.
I went, hang on a minute, I'll get it, and she's a very forthright, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And she grabbed it and then put her back out. And shit. So we spent the first day in Marrakesh trying to find a pharmacist and trying to speak to everyone, and they're like, yeah, come into my shop. I'm like, can we do this first?
Yeah.
And then they were calling her Adele, and they were calling me Slim Shady. Really funny. Hey, Slim Shady, come to my restaurant. But yeah, it was good. But yeah, you're trying to find, if you're not from there, trying to find what you need.
Yeah.
Beautiful place, though. I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love
Beautiful,
it. Well, my dad grew up in the north of Morocco, but we went, Michelle and I, last year, just traveled all around there.
Oh,
and
nice.
Marrakesh was just, mind-blowing, incredible place. Yeah.
It's one of those, when we were sitting up on this balcony, and it was like an ice cream parlour overlooking the main square, and you just sort of sat there and there's music playing, and there was this and the and you're like, this is like Indiana Jones, man.
Yeah.
So when you like you were just talking about, you've been on antidepressants from a very young age, and then anyone listening to this who doesn't, would go, yeah, but how can you be depressed? You grew up in Mallorca.
I think, and this is something people kind of, if they've never experienced depression, it doesn't marry up with maybe how well things are going in your life or anything. Like, there's been moments where absolute career high.
Yeah.
I've been with my partner Michelle now for 15 years. Like, things are great with the two of us, but you just feel like this kind of weight on your shoulders, which just comes from nowhere. Like, you don't understand why you feel unmotivated sometimes, or you've got maybe ideation or these negative thoughts. You're like, where's this coming from? Everything else seems to be smelling of roses.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe I'm allergic to roses or something. I don't know where this negative kind of stuff comes from sometimes.
I think you're right. It's in us, regardless of your surroundings. Like, you could be sitting on a beach in Bali and...
One of the worst moments I felt in my life was I would have been 18 years of age, and this is before I saw a doctor about it or anything, and I was out in Menorca where my dad lives now. And again, it's like, a holiday resort. It's beautiful, it's sunny and everything, but it was off season. And I just remember like being sat overlooking the beach by myself, and it was almost deserted because outside of holiday season, these towns just evacuate. It's like a ghost town. They should have shot 28 Days Later there. They wouldn't have needed to clear the streets or anything, and it, would have given a nice tax break to the people of Menorca as well. But they, I'm just there, and you feel isolated and by yourself. And even though it's paradise, you just feel this sort of emptiness and negativity. And that's, I think, one of the things that kind of made me go see a doctor about it. Was it doesn't matter where you are, like you said. Could be overlooking stunning sunset, the thing is, sometimes it's not there, and you think like, oh well, I'm fine now. I don't need to, exercise or everything they recommend you should be doing and stuff like that, and then you fall back into that way.
Mate, I know what you mean. I've been reading a lot about being present, and like Ruby Wax has got some really good stuff about what you should do when things start to escalate. What you should do is just stop. And then just go, right, I can feel the chair. I can feel it on my arse. I can feel it. It doesn't say arse. I can feel it. under my hand. I can feel my feet on the floor, and bring yourself into the present.
Okay.
And then things like when I've been somewhere and I'll be like that beautiful sunset, and I'm sat there with good people, and you have to have a moment and go, why are you worrying about that?
Yeah.
Stop worrying about something that's not here, that you can't do anything about right now. You've done really well in comedy to be actually now in this place with these really cool people. You did that. You worked hard at something, and it's happened. So, yeah, have a moment and go, yeah, this is really nice. And you feel your shoulders go, yeah. And I'm not just saying it has to be. You have to be somewhere nice to have that happen. If you're somewhere and you're worrying, I think just have a moment and go, can I do anything about it now?
Yeah, definitely.
Is there a phone call I can make? Because it's normally that with me. I haven't made a phone call, and I've let it build up, and now it's become a bigger thing than it should have been.
Do you find it easy to talk on the phone?
No. I hate talking on the phone.
Yeah, I hate it as well.
Producer Paul rings me all the time, and then I get a message from him going, "You really hate phone calls." I'm like, I can't speak on the phone. I can't hear properly, and I'm too busy. Like, I don't know what to do. It's really weird. So I'm like, just tell me what you need.
Yeah.
What do you need?
You know that whole cliche of like, this could have been an email? Yeah. That's me, but in everyday life. Like, my mom and my girlfriend would be like phoning me up and talking to me on the phone. They're like, why you, I'll be cutting off, I'll be sounding quite short. Yeah. So I'm trying to get off the phone as quickly as possible because I feel really uncomfortable on the phone. And I'm like, just stick it in an email. I'll tell you, when we're in person, this is one of the things I like to go meet people in person. If I'm there, I feel a lot more comfortable with it. But on the phone and stuff, just can't do it.
These lunatics that ring, I heard this the other day, that ring each other up just to find out how they are.
Sickening.
I was on the train the other day, and there was a woman sat opposite, off to the side of me, and I think she's one of those people that can't stand just sitting. There has to be something, because she was going through her phone and she was ringing everyone. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm just on the train. I'm just coming back. How you doing? Are you all right? And then obviously that person's like, yeah, well, I'm busy. Okay, all right, well, I'll talk to you later. Next person, hey, how you doing? Because there are people like that.
I want to know how far down the phone, the alphabet she got down. Yeah. Like her friend Zach has never had a phone call.
My phone started ringing. But there are some people that are like that. They can't. They have to fill every kind of gap with something.
Sure.
And that must be annoying.
Tiring as well.
Exhausting for these people.
I think I'm a bit like that. I can't be sort of idling away doing nothing, but I can fill the time without involving somebody else. You know what I mean? Without having to phone up support or
Yeah.
But I can't, and also I'm the absolute worst at messaging people back as well. It depends. Like if it's like if there's something I'm interested, I have to do that moment. Sometimes I can get over that step, but I'm even worried to look at my phone now. I think the little red circle with it says the number of text messages you've got and stuff. I think mine's in the hundreds.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I haven't been on Facebook Messenger. I'm scared to go on there. It's probably been a few weeks. It's the longest for a while that I haven't been on there.
Well, there's the other side of it as well. If you don't look and you don't get, it's like when I've lost my phone or phone's broken, and I haven't had it for a few days, and I'm like, the messages, and there's none. It's just producer all going, you really hate phone calls. I don't know how you cope with that. My wife sees the emails and she goes, you haven't read any of these. I'm like, no, but they're just like, buy a sunroof, buy this, do that. It's like, I don't look at those ones, but then...
I've literally never deleted an email in my life. I've had an email account since 1996, I think.
Jesus.
Which is when, most people got their first sort of email accounts and stuff, addresses. So I've had one since 1996 that I don't actually use anymore, but I've never deleted a single email from that. So if anyone's ever emailed me and they're worried about the content of some of the emails, I still have them on you.
Yeah. So you want to watch yourself. I didn't get an email address until 2000 and would have been 2005.
What?
Yeah. Didn't need one. I even remember when mobile phones started to happen, I'm like, I don't need a phone.
This won't catch on.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't need a phone. And now I'm like the worst at it, just addicted to it constantly. And I keep reading on my phone about, oh yeah, you shouldn't be on your phone all the time because then the little one, like your kid's like, and so I try not to look at it when he's there, but then he's got it and he's like, but I didn't. I was like, I'm not getting a phone. Fuck that.
You know, everyone's email address, the first one they got was something like, superstar cowboy 45 or whatever, something like ridiculous and long or something inappropriate and stuff. Mine was my name. Honestly, mine I would have been, how old was I? I think I was like 10. Yeah, I was 10 years of age when I got, or 11 maybe, when I got an email address. And mine was my name. So I could still use it if I wanted to, like professionally today. Like Ignacio Lopez at, and and people will be like, yeah, that's fine,
There's no problem there.
Yeah, whereas having to log into something with your role or like tell somebody your email address. I've seen it at like hotels and stuff, people checking in, they're like, oh, what's the email address? They'll be like, oh, it's Big Dick.
Mine's my name as well, Rich Wilson
Smart.
Rich Wilson 001. But I think that's because, I got to it later. I was older, and I only got it because I'd started comedy.
Yeah,
and I needed it. They were like, oh, we'll email you. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay. So, but I remember getting my first mobile. I used to carry it around with me. It didn't have any credit on it. I didn't care about it and wasn't fussed. But now it's like, where's my phone?
But you couldn't do anything with it back then.
No.
The phone, like smartphones changed everything, I think. When the iPhone really kind of cut into society and everyone was like, this is remarkable. It's just a portal to another world, isn't it? You got all of that access immediate to stuff. That immediacy, like I said about not liking to queue. If I've got anything less than 5G on my phone, I'm flipping out.
Mind you, I've been the same. Like, we've had this again. We haven't had internet in our house since September.
Okay.
And it's been back and forth. And they said, oh, yeah, because they need to dig up the road to put it in. And then it was back and forth.
Put the internet.
You got to put it in. Yeah. I'd have 7 internets, please. and they keep putting it off. So we haven't had it. And it's been... And we live here now, so there's this big stone houses that we live in. So there's reception shit. So you're trying to, it's just, So you look at 3G and you're like, well, there's no point in having a phone.
Every time I move from somewhere, because everywhere I live will have terrible internet, right? Phone signal.
Yeah.
So like when I was living with my mom, useless internet. I barely get a bar of signal and stuff. As soon as I moved from there, they now have 5G. Like they installed a new mast. Everywhere I leave, that's where they go. I should
just
go to
following you around.
Underdeveloped parts of the world for a week, leave, and they'll just bloom,
Yeah. But how are you feeling now? So do you feel like you're on the right medication now?
Currently, I'm not on anything.
Not on anything.
So I had to come up. The mirtazapine was the most recent one. It's just difficult finding a balance, and obviously your chemicals change sort of week on week, month on month and stuff as well. So some people have been on like antidepressants, the same one I've spoken to for, years. And they're like, yep, it regulates me perfectly. Whereas I think mine just seems just to spike in different times. Currently I'm in a good place. I've really tried to look after myself this tour because you can fall into a kind of spiral of like late nights, early morning, traveling here, there, everywhere, eating rubbish food, which it's mainly what the show is about. My show is called SEÑOR, SELF-DESTRUCT. It's about how I've destroyed my body and mind, So through these passions and obsessions and stuff. But I think just eating slightly healthier makes such a change. That seems to fix some of the issues for me.
On a mental level as well.
Yeah.
Because now you feel better because you're going, I'm eating better. I didn't have that donut. I'm having this now. And those pleased with yourself endorphins kick in.
Yeah.
Like when you've been to the gym, you're like, yeah.
And I'm drinking less. Like I got to a point where I was just drinking so much because it was there. Do you know what I mean? I'm doing gigs in places because I didn't drive as well. I was having to stay over everywhere I was performing, and because I couldn't get home that night, and I'd drink at the gig, after the gig, I'd go to the hotel or maybe to a bar with some people from the lineup and stuff, drink there, back to the hotel. Now, doing that a few nights a week is fine.
Yeah.
But if you're on the road 5-6 nights a week and that's happening every night, it just, and I love to drink. It doesn't have a negative impact on my life other than just ruining the next day. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm fine. I'm not dependent on it, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But just now I've switched to, at gigs I'll be drinking a lot more like non-alcoholic, drinks and just enjoying them and then having a drink after the show and then sort of calling it a night earlier than I would have done in the past a few times. Just trying to get into the pattern of not being in a negative pattern is a good thing. But man, it's just difficult because we're in a different place every night. You don't have that kind of like nest that sort of, I mean, you got a family now as well. You got a kid, but, so it's that probably grounds you quite a bit. Whereas it's weird being, you're in Aberdeen one night and then the next day, you're in Cumbria or wherever it is. And down south, it's just, it's strange being constantly floating around.
It's a weird, it's a weird one. It's funny actually, I just updated my website and someone was at a gig and they went, "Oh man, so your tour, you're going some places." I'm like, "That's not a tour.
No,
that's just gigs. That's what we do."
People will go on my website and I'll get messages from people like, "Oh, hey, I see you're free on this date." I was like, "I'm not free on that date, just because it's not on one of my tour dates. As it happens, I'm gigging somewhere else on that date, but it's not on my website because that's the tour dates. I actually gig outside of the tour as well."
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? This world that we're in, but. I love it.
I couldn't give it up. I don't think. If there's one addiction I have no issue maintaining, stand-up comedy. Yeah,
I know. It's one of I have moments where I go, "Fuck this," and then I have a really good gig, and I'm like, "No, it's fine." So the tour, you're halfway through the tour now.
Yeah.
And where are you? So where are we next?
Well, I'm in Bridgewater on Friday.
That's a nice venue in the theatre there.
Yeah, Macmillan. Yeah. I did it last time. And what's nice is returning there. I've sold slightly few more tickets than I did the last tour a couple of years ago. It's nice to feel that kind of level of progression. Yeah. Because, you start out, as soon as you start doing solo gigs, it's a worry. It's like, have you ever run gigs as well?
Yeah, God, yes.
The hardest job, I think, in comedy is putting on a night and like that stress of like, will people even come?
Oh, it's horrible.
And like, as soon as you start touring as well, that immediately that's the feeling you get all over again, but every night of the week for 3 months or something.
Do you find out how many you've sold before you get there, or do you just leave it?
I obsessively look at the ticket updates all of the time, and they come in, so my tour agent sends them to me every Monday, and this is part of the obsessive stuff about the neurodiversity as well. They'll come in every Monday, my ticket updates, but I can still go on the website of the theatre and look at the seat maps and see where the gaps are. I'll tell you something I've learned. British people fucking love an aisle. They absolutely love an aisle. There's a new stereotype we need to put in. It's not just queuing up, all right? It's not just the drinking culture. British people love an aisle. If you put an aisle in the middle of a room, they would rather sit at the very back of a venue, which they like to sit at anyway, but on an aisle than sit centrally down closer to the action. It blows my mind. People will, all the way up, every venue, it will fill up the aisle before anywhere else. It spreads out from there.
They have this weird idea that they're going to get trapped in the middle. Well, I will say this though, when I went out and I did a cruise. I had to fly out to Barcelona to pick the boat up, and we got it was all sort of last minute, so I got late check-in for the plane, middle seat. I'm like, at least I'm on the plane, doesn't matter. So I'm in the middle, and I'd been up really early, so I'm sat like that, and I just nodded off, and then but I jumped in my sleep, and I just nodded off like, and I went, "Hey!" and I kicked the table up. And then the bloke next to me was, I don't know where he was from, he just said, "Nightmares?" yeah. So they're both laughing, so I make them jump as well.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, man. Yeah. So that wasn't fun. So, tickets, where can we get tickets to see you?
ComedyLopez.com.
And that's where everything to do with you is on there.
Except my kids' show. is at juansolo.co.uk.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that? Oh, that's a great name.
Yeah, I couldn't get juansolo.com, so I don't know which American is also touring as Juan Solo. But my kids show, I play the character of Juan Solo in my kids show, and
Fantastic.
mix of stand-up and stuff too, which is
Dude.
just finding ways of fitting more work in on a day. So I'll do the adult show in the evening, and I'll do the kids show in the morning, or the afternoon.
I think you're going to be one of those people that you'll just vanish one day. You'll just go pop, because you work so hard.
Yeah.
It won't be like, oh, do you remember Ignacio? Yeah, he was ill for ages, and they're like, no, I haven't seen him. He just wore himself out. Evaporated. And on the socials.
Yeah. So I'm Comedy Lopez on everything. I think pretty early on I learned that people can't spell or remember Ignacio. So I was like, right, I'm going to go with Comedy Lopez, because everyone can spell Lopez, hopefully, Lopez, unless you're Portuguese, in which case they spell it with an S, but it's with a Z, and comedy. So comedylopez.com, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the lot. Yeah.
Fantastic. Ignacio, it's been a pleasure.
Pleasure, mate.
Good luck with the tour, man.
Thanks, mate.
It's been so great. Thank you very much. This has been Insane in the Membrane. This has been Ignacio Lopez. That's been producer Paul over there. There he is. That's his little hand there, working his magic. And I've been Rich Wilson. We'll see you next time.